Hi guys, it's Kelly here and I am back with another video. Today I am thrilled to be part of the Hero Arts spring release blog hop. I'm going to be using their new Looking Glass birthday party, Let's Celebrate, and then the fine art frame and circles and squares frames that are also part of this Looking Glass series. These are super fun and I don't even like dies. So basically, there's three different dies that allow you to create a scene. Which I love a scene. I love a good scene. And so you can do these a couple of different ways. Whenever I first get new dies, I always like to just cut them out and see what they're doing before I kind of put any sort of plan together. As you can see from these dies, they don't cut out the square around it, they just cut out the items inside of it. So you can create really cool like trifold cards. I didn't do a trifold card today because I recently did one for another Hero Arts video, and so I didn't want to, I don't want to be a one trick pony. So we're going to use these a different way. I'm actually going to cut them apart so that they are three different scenes. I am still going to put them together, but I'm going to put them together a little bit differently so that we have some dimension. But this is just showing you another way that you can use them. You can use them separately. You don't need to use them all together. And I actually made two cards with this, but the other one will be another video because it was just too long to make them all one. So here you can see I'm kind of stacking them all up together so that you can see what they look like and so that I can see. And now I've spread them all out. I'm going to do some really simple Copa coloring. I could not decide on a theme for my birthday card, and so I went with rainbow because why not? Why not rainbows? So I'm just going to go through, and for the most part, I'm not really going to be doing any shading. Definitely no shading on the banners. I did do some shading on the other elements, the presents, the balloons, and the cake, and the frame when we get there. But I mean, really, you could do them all. The shading isn't going to make that big of a difference, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I do it because that's how the look I prefer. But once they're all stacked up together, especially the furthest piece in the background, those balloons probably didn't even need to be shaded because you just see parts of those elements, and I don't even know that the shading really adds anything to it. So you may notice that this is a little bit of a shorter video for me, about 5 minutes shorter than usual. But that's because, like I said, I made two cards. The other one is a shaker, which I'm very excited about. And I will share that here in the next day or so. But I couldn't make them on the same video. It would just have been way too long. For this banner here, you can see I've started with the green. The reason that I didn't start with the red every time is because I didn't want all of the same colors to always be laying on top of each other. It also helped me select the color of my balloon because once I colored them all in, the only color that was missing was yellow, and so it just made sense to make the balloon that color. So that way everything was kind of represented there. And I'm going to color my balloons the same way that I always do, just with a three color blend and, trying to get some roundness on the sides. So I know that you were probably worried when you saw that it was 15 minutes that we wouldn't have story time, but we're going to have a little bit of a story time. I don't know if I'm going to be able to fit it all in on this video, but we're doing a little foreshadowing, if you will. So Christmas. Christmas was a couple of months ago. I don't know about you, but I am terrible about returning things. I'm really very poorly about it. And I did a lot of online shopping this year, which I don't like. I'm going to be honest. I prefer to do my shopping in person. I like to carve out one day and then go and get all of my shopping done, which we did do for the kids. But when it came to shopping for my husband, I did do my shopping online because obviously, we had like a barely, was she 2 months? She wasn't even 2 months yet. So Caitlin was still little, and it was much more difficult to get to the store. So I did some buying online. I'm not sure if he did his buying online or not, but of the things that I wanted, that I had asked for, was clothes. Obviously, as you know, I think is common knowledge, when you have a child, you do gain some weight. The vast majority of us do not have personal trainers who live in our home, along with personal chefs. And so we're all just a little bit bigger after we have babies. That's just biology, just happens to you. And so I was wearing still, when I first came home after having Caitlin, I was wearing a lot of my maternity clothes, but I didn't want to spend a ton of money on clothes that weren't maternity clothes, but also I couldn't fit into my previously sized clothes. Like I was just in this weird in between. And so when I was asked what I wanted for Christmas, I said clothes, size large, please and thank you. So one of the things that my wonderful husband bought me was he bought me some pants for work, which was so smart of him because obviously I'm not going to fit into my pre-pregnancy pants for work. And I was going to be going back at the end of January. And then I also needed jeans because I had been wearing my maternity jeans, but now my maternity jeans were a hair too big, but I could not fit into my previously sized jeans. So I was just like, running around in leggings and sweatpants. And sometimes when you are going places, you would like to wear something besides legging and sweatpants. You know what I'm saying? So he picked me up some jeans. And men are adorable. Men don't know anything about sizing or sizes. And so my sweet, sweet husband bought me a pair of jeans, and he bought petite. Now, I don't know if you've ever seen a picture of me, but I am not petite. My 4'11" sister, she is petite. I am a long. I have a 34-inch inseam. I have a very short torso and very long legs. So needless to say, petite was not going to work for me, but he was thinking petite like smaller waist size, not petite like length size, which is really a lot of what it applies to. So I knew I had to take them back. I'm going to be honest with you, as I do this voiceover in February, I still have not returned them. They're downstairs. I'm terrible about it. He knows I'm terrible about it. He is typically much better about it. And I also, when I was ordering his things, I ordered him, I told you he's making this transition into a different role in his career. And so he's not going to be wearing a uniform every day. And he needs some dress clothes. And that's one of the things that he asked for. So when he asked for dress clothes, I and everybody else, purchased him like some dressier khakis for like court days and things like that. And then some casual khakis for just like days that, he's just going in and nobody's really going to see him except people he works with. So 2 of the khakis that I purchased him somehow were a tapered leg. I do not know how that happened. Side note, back to the card. So here I'm lining them back up so I can again decide what color I'm going to color the banners so that I don't have all the same color laying on top of itself. And I realized that I could go back to just doing it, the traditional rainbow, Roy G. Biv and all that jazz. And they wouldn't be laying on top of each other. It would still be okay. So I purchased him these pants, and these pants were tapered leg. Now, my husband is not, he's a regular, he's a wide leg, he is anything that is relaxed and more of a comfortable fit. He is not a tapered leg guy. Back to the card. So this is the Fine Art frame, which does fit these Looking Glass dies perfectly. And there's a bunch of them. I used the birthday one, but there's like a really pretty one that has like dragonflies in it. There's another one that has like sunflowers and bees. They came out with a bunch of them and they're all super cute, and these frames fit all of them. So I cut this out knowing that I was going to kind of like fit it back in, and I decided that I wanted the frame to be black. And since I had already cut it, I'm just going to do this with my Copics, but you could certainly just cut it out of black cardstock and skip this step. So anyway, I bought him these tapered leg pants on accident. I didn't realize they were tapered leg. This is not good for him. In fact, one of his buddies got married, and I guess it's a thing now that like you don't rent tuxes or suits like you did when I was, going to proms and stuff. You purchase them. And one of his buddies had him in his wedding party, and he had to purchase this like skinny legged Joseph A. Banks suit that was going to cost us quite a bit of money. And I was like, you're never even going to wear this again. Why are we buying it? Stop it. But we did, because that's what you do for your friends. What are you going to do? But anyway, so he had to return them, and I purchased them off of Amazon. Now, you know me, I'm a cheap chicken. I'm very cheap. I have Amazon Prime, but I split that account with my mama. So 1 year she pays for it, 1 year I pay for it, 1 year we split the cost. Like, it's just cheaper. It is a little bit of a pain, and sometimes addresses get confused or don't get changed in the account to make sure they get delivered to the proper place, but that's how it works for me. My mom is the person who originally had Amazon Prime, and so she is the one whose email it is under. So Eric asked me to, hey, can you go through and do this return? So I do, but it sends the return email to my mom. And I asked my mom to forward it to me, which she does. And then I forward it to my husband so that he may return them at the nearest Kohl's at his convenience. He decides he's going to do this on the way to work one day. Now, he's a very busy man. We have 2 kids. We have multiple jobs. There's a lot of things happening in our lives. And so he didn't get to it for a little while. Back to the card. So here I glued the first 2 layers to the frame down flat, but I wanted to add a little bit of something extra. So I decided that I was going to put some phone tape in between the second and third layer so that the scene would have more dimension and would kind of pop up. So anyway, he decides he's going to stop at Kohl's one day. And so he does. He goes to Kohl's, he waits in line. You know, Kohl's always has crazy lines because you have to go through their customer service to do the Amazon returns. And he opens up the email, and it does not have whatever the code is that he needs to return it. There's like this QR code they have to scan. And so he goes through, the whole thing of waiting there, and, now he's running late to work and trying to just knock it out. He doesn't have the QR code. He sends me, first he tries to log into my account, not realizing that it's my mom's account and not mine. And consequently, it's not my email, it's hers. And I get a notification on my phone, but I don't see it because I'm at the dermatologist's office. So when I get done with what I'm doing at the dermatologist, I see this thing on my phone. He sends me a text message, and he was like, hey, I need the QR code. So I send a Facebook message to my mom, hey, can you forward me this QR code so that I can send it to Eric? And then there's all this waiting because my mother is trying so very hard to be helpful and to do the things that I've asked her to do, but technology is challenging. And she's waiting for the email to come in. She also has an older desktop computer, so I don't know if she's on her laptop or desktop. Meanwhile, he's texting me like, where's this code? I'm waiting for it. And so finally, my mama sends me the email, but it is too late. He has already left the Kohl's because he's going to be late for work. And it was, needless to say, just a very frustrating situation while I'm sitting in the dermatologist's office just trying to get through my appointment. Which is where the foreshadowing comes in. I will tell you my dermatologist story and how that whole thing played out when we do the next video. But I needed you to understand what was happening with the returns before we got into the dermatology story, so you could understand, how that whole experience went. So here I have everything glued in. It's all lined back up with where I cut it out. And now I'm just adding a few little extra details like I like to do. Some polka dots and some stripes and then some glitters. A couple of things to note. The Hero Arts blog hop is going on. If you have not hopped along, I will link below if you're watching on YouTube. They're generously giving away some gift cards to random commenters along the hop. They also are launching their new Stamp Along for spring, which has a ton of really wonderful teachers in it. Daniel West, it has Mindy Egan, it has a bunch of people who are just, Libby Hickson, who's of course always associated with Hero Arts, and I love her. But I will link that below. Also, if you would like to stamp along with them for that event. So thank you guys so much for joining me. And like I said, I will catch you shortly on the next video. Bye.